Hey, Deputers, Adam Dukes here. I'm going to share with you the most important thing I learned about dating. Relationship advice from me. Are you kidding me? That's probably what you're thinking. This was a question on Quora, one of my favorite websites out there. It's for those not familiar with Quora, it's a question and answer site. People ask questions, any questions. I mean, anything, and people answer them. And the more popular a question is, the more answers, obviously. And if it's a good answer, people can upvote it. And as it gets more upvotes, it gets kind of pushed to the top, kind of like SEO with the Google search rankings. And then the more people that look at that question, the more people view your answer and upvote it. So I'm saying that because you have to write thorough answers. You can't write kind of half-ass answers. You have to put some thought into it, or it's not going to get upvoted and your answers are not going to be seen. So I started on Quora probably about a year and a half ago. I'm not super consistent with it. I have about 110 answers, but this was one of the most popular answers or most viewed answers and upvoted answers that I have answered so far. And the question is, what is the most important thing you've learned from dating? And so I shared a story of what happened in May of this year. Amanda said to me, I gave up on this relationship years ago. That fucking hurt. That stung. Like the word years, like weeks, months, okay, but years hurt. We were together for 8 years. So the word years really, really hurt. And ironically, she told me this a day after my parents' 39th wedding anniversary. And so I started, she ended up moving out a few weeks after she told me this. But for those few weeks and into June and that, I started realizing, I was looking at myself, what did I do wrong? How could I be better? I started reading books on becoming a better man, becoming a better partner, becoming a better person. I was obsessed with it. I started listening to podcast after podcast, and I started to make some changes. The one book that I really loved that was called The 5 Love Languages. If you haven't read it, I cannot recommend that book enough. I think every person in the world should read that book. It's fantastic. And so the one lesson that I learned in all of it, and looking back over the last 3 months, looking out over the last 8 years, because I wasn't perfect in any way, not placing blame on her. I took 100% responsibility. I told her it was my fault that the household fell apart, that we broke up. I wasn't the man she needed to be. I wasn't the leader that this household needed to be. I took it all on me, and I 100% meant it. And that's the thing you have to do, is take 100% ownership, 100% responsibility for it. As hard as it is, as much as I wanted to point fingers at her, it was my fault. It was my responsibility, and why we went through what we did in May and June was because of me. Why I'm going through what I'm going through right now, it's because of me. So what I learned is the little things matter. The 4 words. So brain dead simple. So I got a list here, so I'm going to kind of just read it off. Like I said, this was a Quora answer. So making the coffee, getting the coffee ready. That's something my mom talks about all the time. She says my dad has done it for 39 years. Makes the coffee or gets it ready, He gets up before her and usually has a cup waiting for her when she wakes up. Or the pot is fresh, She was like, that's something she brings up often. Making the coffee, that's so simple, The next one is leaving Post-it notes in random places. I love leaving Post-it notes. Used to leave them on Amanda's steering wheel, on her windshield, on her window, on her purse, in her underwear drawer, just random spots. Always love leaving Post-it notes. Another tip that I got from my old man. He taught me, not taught me, I just watched him do it. Another important lesson, your kids are watching what you're doing. I watched him do it. My mom loved it. And my mom would do Post-it notes as well. So I started doing it. Look her in the eye when you're talking to her. This is very important. A lot of people, a lot of relationships, unfortunately, they're always looking at their phone, not paying attention. Sad to say, but it's true. But look into her eyes when you're talking to her. The next is daily appreciation texts. Little text saying you appreciate her. And not just vague, hey, I appreciate you getting the kids ready. I appreciate you getting the kids' lunches ready. I appreciate you picking up the kids from daycare for me. Whatever it is, just a little appreciation text. That goes a long way. Folding and put away laundry unexpectedly. That is the chore that I hate the absolute most. I think everybody does, the folding part of it. But doing things like that. Like I said, these are simple. Nothing earth-shattering, but little things like that. Next one is words of affirmation, encouragement. This was her love language. Again, if you read the book 5 Love Languages, you'd understand. She liked the words of affirmation and encouragement. Next is being vulnerable, sharing what you're probably, especially as men, sharing what you're probably holding inside, what you're scared to talk about, what you're nervous about. Share your dreams, the big aspirations you have. Be vulnerable with her. Be open, and then that builds trust, and she'll be vulnerable with you. Praise her for the little things. The little things, I would nitpick on some things, and I wish I would have praised her for the little things. And it's kind of funny because after we had that fight or discussion about her giving up years ago, I started implementing more of these little things, as I was reading these books, listening to these podcasts, and things took a drastic change. We started dating again, even after she moved out. I talked about that in a video a couple days ago, and things were changed. She was falling back in love with me, she told me, and it was all just doing this little shit, just little simple 3 to 5 minute things. It doesn't take long at all. I don't think any of them cost any money. So anyways, the next one, praise her for the little things. Like I said, just the little things. Hey, back to the appreciation thing. Hey, I appreciate how you do this. I like how you do this. You inspire me when you did this. Things like that. Taking responsibility for my actions and words. This was something I sucked at for years. And then listening to podcast about self-improvement, reading books, I flipped the script completely. Now it's 100% my fault, 100% my responsibility. And I take responsibility for my words and my actions. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Might be a little bit after, might be a little late on the damn thing, but I'm going to do it. It might take me 3 weeks to take the trash out. No, I'm not that bad, but I'm going to get it done. I'm going to do it. And same with words. If I say something, I love you, I mean it, things like that. Next is shower her with compliments. Praise her. That's kind of similar to, praise her for the little things, but shower her with compliments. You look good today. I like that shirt. Your hair looks beautiful. Things like that. Apologize when you're at fault. This is something I sucked at the beginning. It's amazing. Kids, I was very immature at the beginning of our relationship. And then once having kids, that really made me much more mature. It really snapped me into it. Still got work to go. Still got room to improve on that level, the maturity level. But apologize when I'm at fault. I'm actually very good at that. Again, it took years to get good at, but I'm really, really good at that. Apologizing might take a little bit of time, but eventually I will apologize for it if I do something wrong. And then the last one, probably the most important, actually, say the best for last, communicate with her. Again, no phone, look in her eyes, have her put her phone down, look in her eyes and communicate. Weekly budget meetings, weekly planning meetings to talk about the kids, sit across the dinner table. This is something we never did. But I hear other people do it. My parents used to do it. Sit across the dinner table, no electronics, after the kids go to bed, and just sit and talk to each other. Look at each other. Talk with each other. Go to the park, sit at the picnic table where you're both sitting across from each other. So you're looking at each other, not next to each other, but across from each other. So these are the little things. Like I said, it was a Quora answer that had 275 upvotes. I think it was my second or third most popular answer on Quora, and I thought, this is probably a pretty good video, and now I can kind of reflect because this was about 4 months ago, and it all still applies, and it all still will apply moving forward. So that's it for now. Hey, if you like this kind of information, like I said, it's going to be marketing and business, mindset, being a dad, being a single dad, dadpreneur stuff. Hit that subscribe button down below, and if you got tips and tricks, or not tricks, I should say, what lessons did you learn about relationships? Current ones, past ones. Share your best tip down below because I'm always looking to learn. This is obviously an area I need a lot of work in the relationship department. So any tips would help me, and it would certainly help the community. So thank you.